Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Nick Aldis is currently the general manager of WWE SmackDown. The authority figure of the Blue brand faces a major concern in the form of Kevin Owens. The prizefighter has recently embraced his darker side, sidelining Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton with his devastating package piledriver. Additionally, KO has begun claiming himself as the Winged Eagle champion during the recent SmackDown episode. Owens issued a massive warning, stating that WWE was responsible for his next actions. This statement suggests that KO could escalate his destructive behavior, raising concerns that he may again target the American Nightmare upon returning to SmackDown. As a result of this growing threat, Nick Aldis might decide to move Cody Rhodes to Monday Night Raw to shield him from Owens. With the transfer window currently open, superstars can switch brands, making this move a realistic possibility. Furthermore, adding Cody Rhodes to Raw would bring significant value to the brand, especially as it prepares for its Netflix debut. However, this move might not entirely protect Rhodes, as KO could also transfer to the Red brand to continue his assault on the undisputed WWE champion. Still, separating the two into different brands might be a more manageable solution than having them both on SmackDown. There is no official update on Cody Rhodes' return timeline in WWE. As we approach 2025, seeing how this storyline unfolds in the coming weeks will be intriguing. If the above scenario unfolds and the American Nightmare moves to Monday Night Raw, fans might also witness Gunther making his way to SmackDown. Since Cody Rhodes is the undisputed champion, his move to Raw would likely lead to the current World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther, shifting to SmackDown. This would result in both world champions swapping brands, marking a significant shakeup within the Stamford-based promotion. Cody Rhodes has been a major crowd puller for WWE in recent months, and his addition to Raw would undoubtedly boost the brand's appeal, particularly as it gears up for its Netflix debut. On the other hand, Gunther's arrival on SmackDown could open up new storyline opportunities and fresh rivalries for the Imperium leader. This world champion brand swap could also allow the company to extend the feud between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. Triple H could build anticipation and save their eventual showdown for a marquee event like WrestleMania or SummerSlam 2025 by temporarily keeping them apart. Chapter 1: The Unexpected Challenge. Nick Aldis had always prided himself on being a strategist. Whether he was in the ring or out of it, he understood the ebb and flow of professional wrestling better than most. He wasn't just about muscle or charisma. Nick Aldis was a master of psychology, an expert in reading his opponents, and a keen evaluator of risks. It was during a late-night discussion with his confidants that Aldis found himself facing an issue that no amount of experience could prepare him for. Kevin Owens. WWE's SmackDown had been home to Aldis for some time. He had made his mark as a force to be reckoned with, yet the looming presence of Kevin Owens had begun to overshadow his every move. The feud between them had started innocently enough, with a series of back and forths that appeared like simple rivalry fodder. However, Kevin Owens was not someone who just played by the rules. Owens was unpredictable, dangerous, and most importantly, a real threat. Aldis had always played chess, but Kevin Owens was a man who was always 2 steps ahead in a game of street fighting. Aldis had watched Owens' chaotic rampage from the comfort of his dressing room. Kevin's style was unique. He didn't play by the books. He wasn't concerned with titles, rules, or respect. He fought for the pure thrill of it. His matches were unpredictable, his promos were scorching, and his alliances were fleeting. He was a wild card that left no room for comfort. That was when Aldis decided it was time to take action. Chapter 2: The SmackDown Dilemma. Nick Aldis had made a name for himself on SmackDown with his meticulously crafted persona. But Kevin Owens' rise had started to disturb the equilibrium. Owens was unpredictable and volatile. He wasn't someone who could be controlled by rules or strategic alliances. Aldis knew that his position on SmackDown was beginning to feel less secure, especially after Owens had taken matters into his own hands during a recent tag match. Aldis' partner for the night had been laid out before he even had a chance to get into the ring. Owens' surprise attack, which had come out of nowhere, had caused enough chaos for Aldis to reassess his strategy, but SmackDown wasn't just Aldis' home, it was the playground for many of the company's top stars, and Aldis realized that Kevin Owens was not just a rival he could defeat with a single match. No, Owens was a whirlwind. A force of nature. If Aldis wanted to stay relevant, he had to stay a step ahead. That was when the idea hit him. Raw, Aldis muttered to himself as he sat back in his chair, the glow of his laptop screen illuminating his thoughtful expression. Raw was the land of chaos, but it was also a place where Kevin Owens had less influence. A move to Raw could buy him some time, but it wasn't a simple decision. He knew that moving someone from SmackDown to Raw was no minor feat. It was risky. It was bold. But sometimes bold decisions were the only ones that paid off. Chapter 3: The Strategy Unfolds. Aldis spent days crafting his plan. If he could manage to send a top-tier SmackDown superstar to Raw, it would not only weaken SmackDown's foundation, but also force Owens to fight on unfamiliar territory. In Aldis' mind, it was a brilliant move. Owens thrived on unpredictability, but how would he fare in a completely new environment? Perhaps he would be forced to adapt in a way that would play into Aldis' hands. The first step was to identify the perfect candidate. He needed someone who would be both a capable ally and a willing participant in his plan. After careful consideration, Aldis decided on a SmackDown superstar who had been underutilized but possessed undeniable potential. Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn had always been caught in the crossfire of various rivalries, and his friendship with Owens made him a perfect target. Zayn had a unique relationship with Owens, one that was constantly in flux. Sometimes they were allies, other times they were bitter enemies. But Aldis knew that Zayn's connection to Owens was his key to destabilizing Kevin's confidence. Aldis reached out to Zayn, and after a tense conversation, he managed to convince the SmackDown star that his best chance for success lay not in staying under Owens' shadow, but in breaking free from it. Aldis pitched the idea of moving to Raw. "You want to get away from Owens, don't you?" Aldis had asked. "Then this is your ticket." Zayn, ever the professional, saw the potential in Aldis' plan. It was risky, but he was ready for a change. They agreed to make the move. But Aldis' plan was far from over. This was just the first step. Chapter 4: The Fallout on SmackDown. When it was announced that Sami Zayn would be moving to Raw, the reactions were mixed. Fans were shocked, wondering what Aldis' true intentions were. Was this some kind of power play to get under Owens' skin? Or was Aldis truly trying to build something new? For Zayn, it was a moment of liberation. He was no longer bound to his past in SmackDown, where Owens' presence loomed large. Instead, he was heading to Raw, a place where he could forge his own path. But for Kevin Owens, the move hit harder than anyone anticipated. When he arrived at SmackDown for the next live show, Owens was livid. He had spent the past few weeks chasing down Zayn, trying to get him to see reason to reunite with him. But Zayn's decision to leave had shocked him, and worse, it had been Aldis doing. Owens wasn't just angry at Zayn, he was furious at Aldis. In a fiery backstage confrontation, Owens cornered Aldis, demanding to know why he had orchestrated Zayn's move. Aldis stood tall, unfazed by the enraged man in front of him. He smiled coolly. "Kevin, sometimes you have to take risks. You were always the wild card, but I'm playing a different game now." This stoked the flames of rivalry even higher. Owens knew that this wasn't just about Zayn anymore. It was a battle of wits, and Aldis had just made it personal. Chapter 5: Kevin Owens' Counterattack. Kevin Owens wasn't the type to back down, especially when his pride was on the line. If Aldis thought that moving Zayn to Raw would destabilize him, Owens was about to prove him wrong. Owens made it his mission to wreck Aldis' plans. He started showing up on Raw every week, attacking Aldis' allies, and even costing him matches. Owens knew that Aldis had built his reputation on control and precision, and that was exactly why he aimed to tear it down, but Aldis wasn't intimidated. Every time Owens would show up, Aldis would be ready, countering Owens' every move with a calculated response. But the frustration was mounting. Owens was unpredictable, and the chaos he caused on Raw was starting to unravel the foundation Aldis had so carefully constructed. The true battle, Aldis realized, was not in the ring but in the minds of the WWE Universe. Kevin Owens had become the living embodiment of chaos, but Aldis was a mastermind, playing a long game. The question remained, who would win? The unpredictable whirlwind or the cool-headed strategist? Chapter 6: The Final Showdown. As the weeks went by, the tension between Owens and Aldis continued to build. Zayn's move to Raw had worked in some ways, but it had also opened a Pandora's box of conflict. It became clear that neither man was going to stop until one of them had claimed victory. The WWE Universe was on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting the inevitable showdown. Would Aldis' plan succeed, or would Owens' chaos reign supreme? The match was set: Nick Aldis versus Kevin Owens, with everything on the line. The night of the match, the atmosphere was electric. Fans packed into the arena, and the air was thick with anticipation. Owens stormed the ring with his signature intensity, while Aldis walked with the air of a man who knew he was about to execute the perfect strategy. It was a brutal contest, with both men using every trick in the book. But in the end, it was Aldis' mind games and calculated risk-taking that saw him through. Owens, while formidable, could not quite overcome the precision of Aldis' tactics. After a series of near falls and high-stakes moves, Aldis secured the victory, leaving Owens stunned in the ring. As Aldis stood victorious, the crowd roared. His plan had worked. Kevin Owens, for all his chaos, had been outwitted by the cold, calculated brilliance of Nick Aldis. Epilogue: The Aftermath. In the days following the match, Aldis stood tall as a champion of strategy, his status solidified in the minds of fans and fellow wrestlers alike. Kevin Owens, meanwhile, had retreated into the shadows, plotting his next move. But for now, Nick Aldis had outplayed him, sending a clear message: when it came to wrestling, chaos may be powerful, but strategy always wins in the end. The battle between Aldis and Owens wasn't over, but it had entered a new phase. And as always in WWE, the next twist was just around the corner. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.